Hello and welcome back for Module 3, Lesson 1. And in this lesson, we're going to talk about finding your first clients using your existing network. So hopefully you're really excited to get diving in on this one. So what we're going to cover is exactly that. So using your existing networks to find clients. So one of the questions that I get asked quite a bit is, where can I find my ideal client? And I think it's something that tends to stop people before they start, really, because I think it's going to be really hard to find their first clients. But often this is a lot more simple than you think, and your ideal clients are already out there in your existing networks. And they might be some of the people you've already spoken to in coming up with your business idea. So where can you find ideal clients? Well, your existing relationships are a really, really great place to start. And for me, all of the freelance jobs that I have had have come through people that I already knew. So I've done quite a few different contract or freelance jobs over the years. And there've been other ones where I've been approached and I've said no due to the circumstances at the time or my capacity to take on more work. But it's for me, more often than not, it's been a case of people actually approaching me to see if I'm available or willing to do the work rather than me having to sort of go out and actively find people. So I've been quite fortunate, but I know that there's lots of other people who get work through the networks that they already know as well. So some of the existing relationships you might be able to make the most of are friends in your industry, like I've mentioned in some of the other sessions. Friends in your industry will often either be the kind of people who need help from someone like you, or who will know of somebody who might need to have help. And in my case, some of my work has come through friends who've referred me to other people. And like I said, in many cases, that's not actually involved me having to go out and proactively look for people. That's been people who have known that I've had time available and have put me in contact with somebody else or put them in contact with me. So friends can be really, really helpful in your industry if you let them know what you're doing, and they can help you either by giving you work or by putting you in contact with people who might be able to give you some work. It might not seem like an obvious one, but your current or your former employer might be a great option. So I have done work for a former employer, and I have also done work, or I was offered work by another former employer. Your current employer might be an option. So say, for example, that you're on maternity leave and you've decided that on maternity leave you're going to start up your own business. You might have been thinking about leaving your existing job, but you might already have a good relationship with your current employer, and the only reason you want to leave and stop doing the kind of work you've been doing with them is just because you need more flexibility. And you might find that your employer is actually someone who is able to offer you some work, or maybe potentially even quite a lot of work if it works for them to have you working on a flexible basis. So it's definitely worth having that conversation if you've got a good relationship with your current employer. You know, it might be that you're in a job and you definitely know you want to leave. So you could say to them, look, I'm planning on doing this. And it might even be that there's an option for you to move to some sort of arrangement where you do, some work, or at least you work for a period until you've handed over your role to somebody else. So that's definitely a really good option. Um, Other people you might like to talk to, business associates, so people or former colleagues, so people you have worked with. So it might be that people who know people, so they might not necessarily be friends, but people who they might be colleagues that you have on LinkedIn, or on other networks, and it might be that you can share your business with them. And again, because you're in the same sort of industry, they might be able to put you in touch with people who need help, or they might need help themselves. Friends of friends, kind of the same as friends. If you're speaking to your friends about your business, they might know people who know people who know people. So, it kind of, within your existing network, chances are there'll be somebody who is looking for someone to help them with the kind of work that you're putting forward. So definitely that word of mouth through friends is really, really helpful. And then referrals and word of mouth. So This is something where perhaps you might have done work for someone in the past in some capacity, either in a freelance or other sort of contractual arrangement, or perhaps, again, it might be somebody that you've worked with who can do a referral and pass you on. And then the more freelance work that you do, so the more clients that you bring in, the more work you do with people, the more opportunities there's going to be for you to get referrals or for that word of mouth to start. And, we talked a bit about the kinds of discounts you might be able to offer. It might be that you could say, oh, if someone gives a referral, and you could give them some sort of a code or something like that, that, you give them a discount off their next job or something along those lines. So you could provide some incentives to help get referrals. But also, having that sort of relationship with people where you can get, referrals is really, really helpful. And then LinkedIn is another one. So LinkedIn is something that you might not really think about. I know mine, I don't do an awful lot with, but LinkedIn is an area where people are looking actively for work. So, there might be recruiters, there might be, people who are looking for help by browsing on LinkedIn. That's often a place where people go when they're looking to hire someone. So you could put your availability out there on LinkedIn, or you could be proactive and, send some messages to people on LinkedIn who you think might be interested in using your services. So that gives you a whole heap of existing relationships where you can talk to people, let them know what you're doing, and you might find that you get some clients that way, or even if you don't straight away, that at least people know and can refer you on. So definitely make the most of those existing relationships. So your action station, I think this is really going to be a bit of a fun and exciting thing for you. So I would say get onto this as soon as possible, because you might find by doing this, you might really quickly find your first client. So make a list of people who who you could talk to about your new business, and then call them or send them an email and tell them what you're doing and ask if they need any help or know of anyone who might be interested. And also, I think it's a good idea, if you feel comfortable doing this, is to put it on your online profiles as well. So, LinkedIn, I mentioned. Facebook's quite good. There's a little space on Facebook where you can put like a caption under your profile that tells you what you're doing. So you could put under there that you're, a freelancer looking for opportunities. And that way, again, it's another way to get some visibility on the fact that you're looking for opportunities for freelance work. And really, anyway, where people can get eyes on what it is you're going to do is going to help you to attract your first clients. And once you get those first clients, it's going to motivate you just to keep going with this and keep building it. So I think it's a really, really exciting stage that you're at now. So that is the end of our first lesson in module 3. And so now we're going to go on to finding your first client using social media.